Welcome back guys in another video of mine, and in this video, the first video of the new year, I will show you one excellent replica of a historical plate made from Windlass SteelCrafts, bought from Chaotic Web Merchant, actually one of my favorite places where I got my historical inventory. And I'm talking about for the Sword of Black Prince. But first, before we start, if you're new in watching my video and you like the content of my YouTube channel, consider to subscribe. It's about 2 seconds to subscribe and it's entirely free, but with that action you're helping me a lot by doing so. Thank you very much. But first, little about the man for whom the original sword was made. The Black Prince was truly his father's son, King Edward III, one of the greatest warrior kings of England. The Prince of Wales was perhaps the most romantic figure in the Middle Ages. His sword was hanging over his tomb, and it was reportedly to have been stolen by Oliver Cromwell. A sword identical to the weapon was found in 20th century and was obtained by Oxford. Mr. Oxford carefully studied a sword and he was convinced that the sword is actually the weapon, the sword of the Black Prince. Original sword was not blackened, but the owner of the sword decided to blacken the pommel and the crossguard so he can preserve the sword for a longer time. Now, let's begin with the characteristic of the sword. The blade is made from 1080 high carbon steel. The length of the sword is actually 112.5 centimeters. The blade is approximately 860.5 centimeters and the thickness is 5 to 10 millimeters, which means that the sword has distant taper, which is the handle is 70.3 centimeters and entire hilt is approximately 26 centimeters. Maximum blade weight 4.5 centimeters. The point of balance is approximately 5 centimeters from the crossguard. The weight of the sword without the scabbard is around 1,700 grams and the edge is semi-sharp. Now, with the appearance of the sword or aesthetics. The sword is outstanding example of the sword from that period of time, 14th to 15th century. It features elegant design and excellent craftsmanship, a beautiful and refined piece of art. A blade and the weapon is worthy of its owner, the Black Prince. The grip is covered with black leather and the guard and the pommel is blackened. It assumed, how I said, the pommel and the guard were not original blackened, but that the owner of the sword, original sword, had them blackened in order to make them more resistant to rust and to preserve the sword. Now, the hilt. The hilt was total length of 26 centimeters, while the grip itself is a little bit smaller, 70.5 centimeters. Those are more realistic and historical dimensions for the grip and the crossguard and the hilt. I probably need to get used to it because usually I spar or use swords with longer hilts and grips. Actually, the longer grips and longer hilts is something modern and not historical. The historical original swords rarely reach 13 centimeters or more. The grip is made of wooden core and covered with black leather. It is stitched extremely well, for my opinion. The grip itself was an oval shape, which helps to significant level to control the blade. Personally, I prefer this type of oval-shaped grip. However, what I personally don't like in that grip, it is very small and thin. The crossguard is blackened, how we said, as is the pommel. The pommel itself is in wheel type, which I personally prefer, and this is my favorite type of pommels. 4 hearts are the center of the pommel, and this is interesting detail of the weapon. The decoration is well executed. Pommel is massive and heavy, which makes the weapon well balanced. The weight will be in the hilt, not in the blade. The pin stop or the pinlock, where the tongue is pinned, and secures the crossguard and the grip and the pommel and everything in that area of the sword. However, there is a small gap between the pin lock and the pommel. This not bothers me personally, but it will be better if there is no gap at all. The crossguard is well fitted into the shoulder of the blade, and there is no gaps, which is good. I hope it will not lose with the time. Now we move to the blade. The blade was with length approximately 85.6 centimeters. Width at the crossguard is approximately 4.5 centimeters. The blade has a diamond-shaped cross-section, and geometry of the blade is typical for that period of time. Where the plate armor begins to appear, you need that shape of the blade to find the gaps between the armor, and it narrows extremely aggressively towards the tip. On the Weapon Merchant, the website where I got that sword, in the description of the product it says the sword is semi-sharp, and actually the sword is not sharp at all. Well, I'm starting to wonder that the semi-sharp means that the blade is ready to be sharpened. The blade is very stiff, which is normal for real medieval weapons, because you need to stab people with that weapon. So the blade doesn't need to be flexible even slightly. The balance of the weapon is approximately 5 centimeters from the crossguard, which is extremely good. Despite the weight of the sword, the weight is actually in the hilt, in the hand, so the sword is not blade heavy, which is nice. That means you can control the blade, you can control the sword. When the blade is fit with some other blade or your hand, it rings. That means the steel is very good. The steel is 1080. The steel itself is very nice, it's very good, high quality. So that means the steel from which the blade is made is extremely good. When I made the video for that review, I hit a tree, which is very old, and several times, and actually the cutting edge was not damaged at all. I even accidentally hit a rock with the sword, and the edge was not damaged at all. There is no damage on the cutting edge, which is extremely good. Yeah. That indicates the blade is not soft at all. Now we move to the scabbard. On the Chaotic Web Margin, the website which I bought that sword, it said that the scabbard is made from leather. When I took out the sword from the box, I thought that the scabbard was from wooden core, covered with leather. However, I was surprised how light was the scabbard. Later, while filming that video, the scabbard bent slightly, and I realized that it was really made from leather. It's not bad, but it turns out was made only from black leather, which is nice, because when you buy a sword from anywhere, usually the sword comes without the scabbard, and every sword that comes with the scabbard, it's extremely nice and good, because if the sword don't have a scabbard, you need to make one, because every sword needs to have a scabbard. This is something I like in the scabbard. When you put the sword back into the scabbard, the sword fits very well in the scabbard. If it even needs a lot of force to take it out or put it into the scabbard again. This is nice because when you walk around and do your daily routine, the sword will not fall off from the scabbard, which is nice. You cannot think about the sword all the time. My impression of the sword. The longsword is typical for its period. When I first picked it up, despite the weight of the sword, it felt well balanced. I swing around the sword, and now when I first train with that sword, I really like how it handles. Even the weight is significant, it's well balanced, and you don't even feel the blade because the blade itself have distant paper and the weight is actually in the hand, not in the blade. There is indeed a big difference compared to the longsword I used to fence with and practice with. Those have longer grips, allow for more space between the hands. However, as I mentioned, this is a modern nuance. Most of the historical blades had shorter hilts, around 20 to 25 centimeters. Rarely they reach the length of the modern longsword. The fact that the grip and the hilt are shorter, maybe, just maybe, it's my own issue and I need to just get used to it. The sword have shorter hilt, shorter grip, and actually this is good because it's more historical. This is outstanding replica of outstanding sword from 14th to 15th century. Perhaps the only thing that I don't like, and I mentioned in this video in the beginning, is the gap between the pinlock and the pommel. It's not a functional problem, but it's aesthetic unpleasantment. Also, one of the things that I don't like, and it's not a problem, when you put the sword into the scabbard, there is a gap, a space between the throat of the scabbard and the center of the crossguard. Again, it's not a big deal. I will cover it with something. Aside from this small and insignificant drawback, the sword is an excellent example and a great replica of its original. the sword of the Black Prince. Why did I buy that sword? Because I like it. It's a historical replica with and the blade length of 86.5 centimeters. It's more historical. Today the swords are often made with the blade lengths of 100 centimeters or more, but those are modern swords, interpretations of the swords, and historical swords rarely extended this length, perhaps only in later periods of time. I liked how it looks, and I decided to buy it. I do not regret it. I will get used to the length of the grip and the hilt. I have to. I will use it as part of my equipment for my reconstruction of an elite Bulgarian soldier from that period of time. That was for now, guys. Thank you for taking that time to watch the entire video. If you like the video, hit that like button on the right, share it with your friends, and also, if you're new watching my channel, I will be more than grateful if you subscribe. That will help me a lot. Bye guys, and see you soon.